Hello, I would like to talk about the workbook Unit 3 and also Unit 2 with you, okay? And then for first of all, I would like to talk about the Unit 2 first page, and which is here. And then this one I'm not going to go into too deep because it's really happening in the worksheet as well. And you should know that this one is Songfajiang, Liaohe, Huanghe, Changjiang, Zhujiang, 海河、淮河、太湖、鄱阳湖、东亭湖, so on and so forth. Okay, just simply remember where is it located, and it's quite straightforward. And I really can, I did give you some basic information or underlying information in the lesson already. For example, Zhonghuajiang is somewhat next to the Northern Korea and so on and so forth. Okay, so I think you just memorize where is it located, and I think the most important thing is at least you're gonna know Huanghe, Changjiang, Zhujiang is how is it, where is it located? Okay, bear in mind the most northern river will be Huanghe, and then the middle one will be Changjiang, and then Zhujiang. Okay, and then for the next one, most of you are making it correct, so I'm not going to go into too deep again. Okay, Phoenix, which is talking about different hu, and then in the lesson I do talk about the 大闸蟹, the crabs. Okay, and most of the crab is raised in this kind of lake, which is next to the Changjiang. Okay, connected with Changjiang. Okay, identify the shaded area on the map, which is a glacier, and then which mostly here. Okay, mostly here. Okay, which is in a mountain of the China. Okay, and then most of them they are located in high mountain and also the western part of China. They are mostly the above water are the examples of the surface water. Okay, and the rainfall since from the northeast or from the northwest, we don't have any sea. Okay, but for the southeast we do have a lot of sea. So accordingly, the rainfall will be decreased. Increased from the northwest, which is northwest is having lowest rainfall, and then for the southeast will be having highest rainfall. Okay, rainfall increased from the northwest to southeast. Okay, and then China ranked for the sixth in the world total population resource, and then the per capita water resource in China is 1/4 of the world average. It's shown in the workbook already. I think you can handle it. And then Changjiang and Zhujiang are very simple and direct. Okay, in the southern China. Okay, how about the river in the northern China? As we have talked about this in the worksheet as well. Which is Songfajiang, Liaohe, Huaihe, Huanghe, and Haihe. Okay, and then why is having more water resource in the southern China is because higher annual rainfall, larger river, as well as the groundwater reserve. Most of you just talking about river and the lake, and which is not quite correct because more water for the area having more rainfall, and it will have higher infiltration, and then there will be more groundwater reserve. Okay, and for here, which is more or less the same as the previous page indeed, but you're gonna be careful about the location of different cities. Okay, Beijing is semi-wet region. Okay, and then Guangzhou is wet region. Okay, some of you mixed it up with the Lanzhou with the Beijing, and indeed Lanzhou is in the inner region, more inland than the Beijing. Okay, and then Urumqi is in a dry area. Okay, very dry area. Okay, very inland area. So accordingly for here, this is talking about the relief rain that caused the dry climate as well as causing some wet climate in terms of in the India. Okay, so first of all, the wet wind come from the Indian Ocean, and then they are forced to rise since they are overlying the mountain, or forced to rise up because of the Himalayas. Okay, air cools and condense to form rain, and then the air will sink and warm after they have passed through the Himalayas, and then the general situation of northwest China, which is right here, northwest China, is dry because they are mostly suffered by the dry wind, which is after the relief rain. Okay, all the moisture have been dried up right here. Okay, and then finally, once they are passing through the mountain, it is already dry. Okay. Wet region, in terms of the wet region in China, which is mostly shorter in terms of distance of the from the sea, and then is it affected by the summer monsoon? Yes. Okay, for the dry region, it's mostly in the inland area, and then distance from the sea is longer, and then it's not affected by the summer monsoon. Okay, so accordingly, the general situation will be like this, and this is very important, so that I have make another YouTube for this already. Okay, be careful. Okay, and then high temperature will form a low pressure. As I said before, the hot air will make the air rise up, and then it's going to be lower in terms of air pressure. But once it's cooler, and then the air pressure will be higher, and then it will sink. Okay, lower temperature of the sea form a higher pressure. Okay, the southeast and southwest monsoon wind blow from the sea to the land. They brings a large amount of rainfall to the coastal areas. However, the inland areas are not affected by the summer monsoon, because inland area right here, and the summer monsoon will be dried up throughout there, passing through the land. Okay, passing through the land, and then they will all dry up, and so accordingly, they are affected by the summer monsoon and relatively dry. Okay, they're not affected by the summer monsoon. Sorry. Okay, how does the distance of the sea from the sea affect the rainfall in the inland region? The onshore wind lost moisture when they go further inland. Therefore, the inland are dry. Okay, just like what I've said before. Throughout this process, when the wind going to the more inland, the water will be dried. Okay, so accordingly, it will having more dry monsoon. Okay, so this is the end of the Unit 2. Let's move to the Unit 3, and it's quite easy. Drought, flooding, and water pollution. Bear in mind for this. Okay, and all the categorizing features that make up of drought is always this kind of thing. Okay, which is totally dry out. The land is totally dried out. Okay, and then for here, which is flooding, and then definitely you can see a lot of water. Then it's flooding, and then the pollution. There may be a lot of rubbish, sewage that is in a river, in the water body. So accordingly, we are having more water pollution. Okay, which part of China this water problem may find? So bear in mind, always all the water problem mostly taking place in the southern and eastern part of China. Okay, southern and eastern part of China, because there are too many people, and then they use a lot of water, and then they develop a lot, so that it induce the flooding, and also they may making a lot of pollutants. Okay, I have told you in the lesson, maybe we may go to toilet, and then the things that come out from us will going to pollute the water as well. So let's think about it. If the populated area, then we are having a lot of pollutant, definitely, and then the water will be polluted. Okay, and then flooding mainly occur in the lower course of the river instead of the upper course of the river. Drought occur more often than flood in China. Okay, which is especially in the northern part of China, and water pollution is common in urban areas because it's populated. Okay, and then Shandong farmer, what are they experiencing? First of all, when the river channel cannot hold the water, flood occurs. The excessive water overflows the riverbank and damage the crops. However, a drought occurs when there's a prolonged dry period. I've told you, which is the drought. If today we don't have the rain, we cannot just call it, oh, today we are suffering from drought. Okay, but indeed it's a long period. Prolonged dry period. Okay, there's not enough water for the crops. Okay, what's more, there will be When the people discharge harmful substances into the river, the water quality turns bad. I cannot use water for drinking and irrigation. Let's think about it. If the water is having a lot of pollutants, just like I'm talking in the lesson, we will drink it. No, so it will be a very horrible situation. Okay, but why there will be a lot of problem in Shandong? Because Shandong in East China having a lot of economic growth, large population, high demand of water, and it is going to produce a lot of industrial sewage. Okay, not just the things from the toilet as well. Okay, indeed the industrial sewage is the major problem that make up of the pollution. Okay, suggest two more other countries or cities that suffer from the same water problems. Okay, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong, Jiangsu, and Hebei. Some of you write other answer. It really depends. Okay, for example, Fujian. I think it's okay. Mostly, which is if you are talking about. Let me open the Google Earth sheet. Let me open the Google Earth. Okay. Mostly, if you are talking about the coastal region of China, I think it deserves a marks, okay? Because it's quite open-ended for here, okay? You can see different kinds of provinces in China, and maybe you say Hebei, maybe you say Shanxi, Shandong, Henan, Jiangsu, Anhui, Zhejiang, Jiangxi, Fujian, Henan, Guangdong, Guangxi, also okay. Indeed. Okay, so it's quite an open question. So just try your very best to explain some of them to me is fine. Okay, and what are the impact of the climate change to this water problem? Climate change will cause more extreme weather events, flooding and drought will occur, become stronger, and then the water pollution will become more serious. Okay, and then this one again and again and again, because indeed it is more or less alike with here, isn't it? Okay, so accordingly, this one definitely flooding. And what are the problem of the flooding? Okay, what are the impacts of the flooding? Okay, first of all, loss of property, loss of life. Reduce the water supply. Why? You may say because the polluted dirt water may goes into the reservoir and then making the water polluted, so it may reduce the water supply. Most of you make it wrong. Okay, missed it. Okay. Damage of crops, some of the crops will be drowned, and an outbreak of disease, just like the dengue fever, as I've told you in the lesson, or cholera, and then malaria, so on and so forth. Okay, reduce the dilution of the pollutant, which is from the drought. Okay, I've told you in the lesson, which is if you have a fewer water to dilute the feces, okay? The feces, I admit it, I say feces in the lesson, okay? I try my very best not to say, oh, I'm talking about feces in the lesson, okay? But I admit it, I did say feces, okay? But it's not for here. When I'm talking about this, it's talking about, oh, if we are having fewer water to dilute the feces, will you drink it? No, because is full of feces. Okay, so accordingly, if we are having more water to dilute the pollutants, the water level is relatively acceptable. You may drink it, although you may know there are some pollutants. Okay, but at least you know this is relatively cleaner. Okay, disruption of transport. Okay, which is flooding of the road, which makes the driving of cars, driving of navigation difficult. Okay, and what are the problem caused by the drought? Okay, shortage of hydroelectricity. We are lack of water to turn on the turbines in order to generate the electricity. And number one is correct. Increase the soil erosion. Yes, it's also correct, because since we are having fewer plants, fewer trees to attach the soil, to bind the soil. So number two is correct. More serious water pollution, as I've just said before, we are having fewer dilution of the pollutants if we are running out of water. So all of them is correct. 1, 2, 3. Okay, dog. Okay, flooding will cause direct injuries and death. For example, people may washed away by the flood water, killed by when the house and the beach collapse. Just like nowadays, the typhoon comes. Some of the Hong Kong residents may get hurt or even die because of the poor weather. Okay, so this is the situation that flooding can brings us. Okay, and let's see. How about the drought? Okay, the drought is mainly located in the northeastern or eastern part of China, as I just told you. And then, which of the description about the drought hit areas are correct? Okay, mostly they are semi-arid region, right, sir? Okay, because semi-arid region like here, okay, like the head of China, okay, is always going to suffer more, okay, once they are running out of water, okay, and then they are having less water resource than South China. Not really, okay, because they are not really having fewer, okay. Most of them is because there are too many population right there, okay. They are affected by the monsoon, true, okay, because they are still in the coastal area, and then the coastal area is still going to uh, approaching to the northeastern China, okay, and then they right here. It is talking about. Bear in mind for this kind of percentage difference. How do you measure it? Wait a minute. How do you measure it? Indeed, you're gonna measure the old figure, the new figure with the old figure over the old figure. Okay, times 100%, and then you are going to have the answer, which is minus 10.9%. Okay, and then how about the drought to the impact of the drought to the society? Shortage of water supply affects the daily life of people. River transport of people, raw material, and goods have to be stopped. Okay, more or less alike with the flooding indeed. Okay, but you're gonna change a bit according to the context of the drought, because you cannot say all the ways, all the impact about the flooding, okay. You cannot say, oh, a lot of people washed away and then they die. Okay, at least you have to change a bit and saying that, oh, a lot of people is running out of water and then they may die. Okay, long-term impact: reduce the food production, a lack of hydroelectricity for the industrial production, water pollution becomes serious, and it may affect the health of people. Okay, so not just telling me, oh, the same way as the flooding. Okay, the drought, how the drought affected us, although the result will more or less the similar, but the processes is a bit different in between the drought and the flooding. Okay, and then what is flooding for here? Volume larger than the capacity of the river channel, then it will be the causes of flooding. Okay, what are the causes of flooding again? What are the natural causes? First of all, slow melt water from the Changjiang. Okay, there will be a lot of slow melts from the Himalayas, Qinghai, so on and so forth. Okay, and then poor built water defense. This is a human situation. Okay, for example, the dam or the dike is lack of maintenance, and then it's going to be flooded or broken during the high discharge. Okay, the storm surge going into the river, and then heavy rainfall is the the cause of the flooding as well. Low-lying relief. Okay, I'm always telling you in the lesson, the flooding will not taking place in the hills, right? Instead, it is going to happen in the low-lying area. Okay, reclamation of lake, making the lake volumes become lower, and then it may reduce the capacity of the whole rivers. Okay, so accordingly, what are the situation causing a lowering of volume of river, which mainly number 1 and number 3. Okay, enhancing the volume of the river. Sorry. Okay, number 1, slow melt water make the volume of river higher. Heavy rainfall making the volume of river higher. Okay, and then the entire will be the reducing the capacity of the river channel. For example, the water defense will broken, and then the capacity of the river channel will be lowered, and then low-lying the reclamation of lake also the same, and then low-lying relief, which is talking about the population area is always in the low-lying relief, and then the we is talking about some of the river is even higher than the cities. Okay, it is quite common in the China lower coast area of Huanghe and also Changjiang. Okay, so it is going to be happening for the flooding. Okay, and then why frequent flooding will be occur in southern China? First of all, monsoon wind and typhoon in summer bring the heavy rainfall and also volume of river flow rapidly. Okay, the relief of the South China is flat and gentle. Sediment deposits easily in a river channel. This reduces the capacity of the river channel and increase the risk of flooding. Okay. So, I think this is the end of the parts of the workbook Unit 2 and 3. Work hard for your test. Good luck.